Hi everyone and welcome back to CX Today. My name is Charlie and once again we are here at Interactions 2025 and I'm delighted to be joined by two excellent analysts from Opus Research. Yes, I am joined by Derek Top and Ian Jacobs. Thanks both very much for joining me and let's get right on into the discussion. And I want to talk about, well, you might have guessed, Agentic AI today. It's a tricky topic in a way because I've seen different definitions float about for agentic AI, and I know it's caused some controversy in the space as to what can be called agentic and what can't be. So I don't know, Derek, maybe I'll start with you on this one. Could you maybe offer a definition for how you would define an AI agent?
Yeah, no, and in fact, I would start with that. An AI agent is something that you can think of as like a traditional type of IVA or chatbot, or has a purpose in terms of having a conversation with a natural language and automation to complete a task. Agentic AI, we would talk more in terms of multiple processes and workflows, and the idea that there is a number of different decisions that can be made from an autonomous or AI agent in order to fulfill on some kind of customer service, in this case, task or workflow. So the process tends to be more of a process, but there are within that. There's reasoning, there are decisions made, and then there's actions to be taken.
Yeah, I think that reasoning is almost a key aspect to it. I think maybe a few months ago we were seeing things maybe packaged as agentic that maybe aren't necessary, but I think now that vendors are starting to be clearer on the definitions with their customers, and I think that's really important. And one vendor that's been very clear in spelling out what exactly they mean by their AI agent strategy is NICE. And I don't know, Ian, I'll maybe bring you in on this. I don't know if you could maybe talk a little bit about the announcement that we had today around the NICE MPower agents.
Well, one thing to note is that NICE is being very pragmatic about it and not shouting agentic from the rooftops. Yeah. They showed agents with agency doing things, taking action. You said reasoning is important. I think the action taking is maybe even more important. So yes, it's true that those things meet the MPower announcement meets the definition, our definition of what agentic is without NICE even talking about it. So that's one thing. Yeah. And I like that because it's not scaring people away, right? It's not, oh yeah, this agentic stuff again. It's very clear. You've got a conversational tool that's interacting with a customer, and then it needs to do something, right? It needs to initiate a process. It needs to change an address. Whatever the action is, the AI agent can invoke the agentic MPower agent. And I like that approach a lot because NICE's customers tend to be very large. They have a lot of built infrastructure, both NICE inside of their technology estate, but broader technology estate. And that sort of incremental approach to adding on to what they've already got to sort of build stepping stones towards real value is a really solid approach. It's very pragmatic. I mean, that's what they are. They're being very pragmatic about it. Again, starting from not overdoing the agentic name inside of it. It's the MPower agents that take actions on customers' behalf, on agents' behalf, whoever it is.
Yeah, and also one part, I mean, we saw a great demo today, didn't we, in the keynote?
Yeah.
And one other part I really liked about it was how NICE sort of enables different AI models. So you can have their CX AI models, you can have sort of maybe more generic models, then you have custom models, and you can kind of have those power the AI agents. That was a big takeaway for me. I don't know, Derek, as well, if you had any takeaways from that MPower announcement.
Yeah, sorry. And to your point, there is like the idea of actually taking advantage of these foundational large AI models, and then also something that's more company specific, domain specific, and actually task specific, which exactly that type of hybrid, that type of combination of leveraging AI models is going to be fit for purpose. It's going to fit the need of whatever your business is. I think what also I took out of the keynote, and it's within this concept, is that there's an openness to work with strategic partners that we hadn't seen before, in a sense, from NICE. And so leveraging things like ServiceNow or Snowflake or having access through integration hubs and having access to data and processes really does open up a lot of possibilities for what's next for AI. So I think that to me is a clear sign that there's a good near future for AI.
Yeah, and I think those partnerships, as you mentioned, are key. ServiceNow, especially in my regard, in terms of building out those workflows into the back office, into the middle office, and then applying agentic AI across them, whether that's through NICE or more likely ServiceNow into the back office and things.
Exactly.
I think, yeah, that kind of shows how NICE can perhaps automate more, increase the scope of automation, in fact, by enabling those extra processes as well. But in terms of agentic AI, I guess it's not all about conversation automation. There's many different applications for AI agents and agentic AI beyond the contact center itself, but it'll be interesting to consider how it might start to change customer experience kind of more broadly. I don't know, Ian, if you have any thoughts on that.
So I have two different ways to answer that. One is, you started with what's the definition of agentic.
Yeah.
It's something that has agency.
Yeah.
But what does that agency mean? There's a million different ways that one could look at technology having agency. And I think in the future, we're going to start to see agentic not just mean, I'm going to change an address for you. There's a lot of different ways. An example that I like to use is if you're in a regulated industry, you've got a regulator that has a knowledge source that you have to abide by. You could, and eventually will, have autonomous systems that will go out and scrape that regulator's website or data store for regulatory changes and then build into its own interaction models those changes without any human involvement. Like, that's the future of where this is going. So that's kind of one area that I would say, like, we have to broaden the definition of what agentic means to mean all the different ways that these technologies can have agency. The other is, right now, we're seeing a lot of focus on the interactions of a brand, a single brand. You mentioned ServiceNow partnership, great. So we've got multiple back-end vendor systems interacting. But in the future, we're going to start to see an ecosystem of brands having agents that are working together to serve my needs. So a very simple example is if I have a 401k and I change jobs and I need to roll it over from one brand to another, each one of those brands may have AI agents. They're going to need to work together to serve my needs. So that interoperability, there are interoperability efforts like MCP and ADA, A2A that are starting up. Once that stuff gets worked out, we're going to start to see a future of ecosystems of brands, agents working together to help drive the customer outcomes that we need. Yeah. So that's a different way to look at what the future might be.
Yeah, and I think that's two really great examples actually there, and I think that really helps to kind of shine what could come next. And another interesting thing, Derek, we've discussed this before, is customers actually using AI agents themselves. So, I mean, Google recently put out experimental feature on their search engine where customers could contact businesses, send in an AI agent to contact businesses for them. And then it also filed a patent for on-device AI agents too, which can take outbound calls as well. And these announcements could have a big impact on the contact center as well. I don't know if either of you have any.
Yeah, well, I'll just really quick, and you can jump in. But I mean, yeah, we definitely see this idea of a personal assistance. Like having that level of kind of expertise at your side for being a consumer, but also being for a business as well. And so from the our view, and we've been covering conversational AI for many years, as we talked about. We always saw this kind of stair-step approach from being an assistant to an advisor to something more autonomous or having agency, and it is interesting that we've actually seen that play out. But that advisor role, I think, is the key there. It is somebody who knows you, it has access to information, and this is true for any kind of personalized customer experience as well. With having more data, more potential understanding of what your needs are, and then autonomously making those decisions on your own can be really exciting and helpful. But there's also this idea of a bot-to-bot communication, which may be happening between brands and businesses, which is also fraught with its own potential challenges, because there's definitely challenges in terms of that kind of automatic behavior.
Yeah, the personal agent idea is great. Right now, the use cases are very narrow, right? So you mentioned Google. It can't call all businesses. It calls like auto repair and restaurants. Is like very narrow. And there's some of the payments providers are working on ones to help with shopping, right? I need to go buy a tent, go find the best tent and whatever, but that's all it's going to do. the sort of more general purpose, it's unclear where that technology is going to come from, right? Is it going to be one of the FANG vendors who have huge numbers of consumers working in their ecosystems? Is it going to be the payments providers? It's unclear where that's coming from. So we've got a ways until this becomes the personal advisor that Derek was talking about, rather than a bespoke tool for a specific set of tasks. But you can think of these as initial experiments. And as brands, I think brands are unprepared for what this means, right? Like the security and risk factors alone, identification, how do you authenticate that agent is actually working on my behalf? And what do you allow that agent to do if it is working on my behalf? If it's change my address, is that okay? If it's, buy something that costs $40, is that okay? Is it transfer $10,000 from one account to another? Like those sorts of process issues, brands, they haven't really started even to grapple with the concept of that yet. But that future is coming. I mean, we see it, and the example you gave is great. Like Google's letting people start to play around with what that might mean, so they can even figure out what would be useful.
It's great to think about, but also I guess in terms of, you both mentioned obviously the personalization aspect of it, the fact that your assistant that you use, maybe in the contact center, for example, your AI assistant could in the future be personalized to you, to how you respond, to how you act with customers. I think that's interesting too. And obviously, as you mentioned, we're far away from these possibilities, but already we've seen progress in terms of the Copilots that are coming out now. And actually, and this was something you mentioned before the call, you said that you've seen great progress in the terms of the nice MPower Copilot to what was available to contact centers maybe in the past couple of years. I don't know if you could also quickly speak to that.
Yeah, absolutely. In the past, when Copilots were built for contact centers specifically, and they weren't just sort of the general evolution of Microsoft Clippy, right? Like they were an actual real Copilot. They were built for the front line, the agents, right? They were tools to help the agents in their interactions. But agents are the lowest paid and the constituency with the highest turnover inside the contact center. Now we're starting to see Copilots designed specifically for the people who stick around for years in the contact center and provide a huge amount of value. The supervisors, the team leaders, the workforce planners, the performance and quality team, and that bespoke design for their needs, understanding, for example, what intraday management means in a contact center where you're overstaffed and you need to figure out how to give incentives to get people to go home. Like that's now being built into what a Copilot is. And that's where you start to see actual real value. And that's new. And that's definitely directionally where NICE is going. And they showed the early ones today at the keynote, right? The ones for supervisors and for business leaders in the customer service organization. Again, it's tuned specifically for their needs. And I think that's why it's going to change people's mind about what these Copilots are compared to the sort of general purpose tools that we have seen, a year ago, 2 years ago.
Yeah, you used the word Clippy there, which is always a key talking point. But I've talked both of your ears off today. It's been a great conversation, so thanks very much for joining me.
Thanks for having us.
Excellent, and also thanks to everybody for watching. Bye for now.